Hi guys, it's Adrian here again. Got another little video for you. Today I wanted to do something different. I don't talk about controllers often, do I, in my videos, and I don't know why, because they're very, very important. I just noticed recently that when I review tech and hardware and consoles and stuff, I don't go over the controller info that much when I probably should. And so it kind of prompted me to make this video where I wanted to sort of tell you a bit about my experience with these wireless 6-button Sega Mega Drive Genesis controllers and what I think of them and what my opinion is. So yeah, so I'll start from the start of you know, my story that I want to tell here. So basically, I had my birthday in March. I wanted to shout myself something, wanted to buy something for myself, and I thought, I won't get a game this time. You know, I'll get something else. I'll get a peripheral or a controller. And I thought, yeah, alright, I'll get a controller. And so I went and ordered a Retrobit 8-button arcade pad 2.4 GHz wireless controller for the Sega Mega Drive. And I was curious to know what it was like, because I've never tried a Retrobit wireless controller before. I've only had experience with these ones, the 8-bit DO M30 2.4G wireless gamepads. And I've been using the 8-bit DO M30 pads since 2019, when I first bought two of them. 2019 was the year I got my analog Mega SG, but it didn't come shipped with one of these, so I had to buy these separately. So I went and bought two separately, and they're great. They're absolutely great. There's I'll pull it out. Just give me a sec. Yeah, guys, so I've had a good history with these controllers, the 8-bit M30 2.4G wireless gamepads. So like I was saying, I got two of them in 2019 because it didn't come with the analog Mega SG, and I haven't had a problem since with them. You know, I've got several of these. I mean, this one's in a box here. There's another one here in a box. These are really good controllers. So I like all the features that they have. Like, they've got like the shoulder buttons, and I believe left shoulder button is mapped to the Z button, and the right shoulder button I think is mapped to the C button. Yeah. And you've got these three little buttons here, which I really like, because it was primarily made for the analog Mega SG. The first button here, if you've got an analog Mega SG, if you press that, it brings up the analog Mega SG menu straight away. So you can get straight into the menus without having to do the hotkey, you know, down and start thing at the same time. So that's awesome. Then I believe the middle button is to pair it with the receiver. So you've got the receiver here, the dongle. So if it's not paired with it, you hold that button down and this will start flashing. Where does it flash from there? Yep. And this will start flashing from the top there. It goes really fast, and it keeps flashing until they pair with each other. And if you keep holding that button, if you hold the button down again, it'll unpair with it, and you can easily hook another dongle or receiver in and it'll pair it with that one. So it's really, really easy, really simple. I'm not sure about the start button. I think the start button is either a turbo button or it turns the 6-button controller into a 3-button controller. I know there's a button one of the three turns it into a 3-button controller. So if you're having trouble with games like Golden Axe 2, which chucks a hissy fit if you've got a 6-button controller, you can change this into a 3-button controller. It's really simple. And I like how if you don't touch any buttons, it stays wired with the receiver for 15 minutes before it turns itself off. I like that. So you got a 15-minute wait. So I just wanted to talk about, get that out of history with 8-bit DO M30 out of the way, because what I'm alluding to now, I'm going to talk about my experience with the Retrobit 8-button arcade 2.4 GHz wireless controller. So I've already gone and pulled the box out. You get this nice box, which is really good. It's got the receiver for the Mega Drive. It's got another one too, a USB one. Where have I put it? I don't know where I've put it. And you get your USB controller, cord to power it up, to charge it. So this is what the Retrobit one looks like. It's nice. So I wanted to get one of these for my birthday. I wanted to see what it was like, right? Because I've only had a history with the wireless 8-bit DO M30 ones, which I haven't had a problem with. So I thought, well, why don't I try a different brand and just see what it feels like, because I like the feel of these ones better. Retrobit has the original Batarang, shape of the original Sega wired 6-button controllers from 1993. So to me, these ones are more comfortable. I got big hands, I got big man hands, so I like how these ones are just a little bit bigger than the 8-bit DO M30 controllers. So when I first got this, I went to plug it in with the dongle, the receiver, and it didn't work at all. I figured it was flat, so I had to wait several hours to charge it using the USB charging cable that it came with, plugged into a power brick. And I think this has their name on it, does it? Does it have the company's name on it? No, it doesn't. I could have sworn one of them did. Might be a different one. So when I did eventually try it, I noticed I went straight to a fighting game. I don't know if it was Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, but I noticed the timing was a little bit off. There was a little bit of input lag, a bit more than there should be, in my opinion. I tried it with Sonic the Hedgehog, and yeah, I tried it on this TV too, down here in the lounge room, the CRT monitor. So it's an analog television, it's not going to have any input lag of its own. So the controller's okay, but when I tested it up against a wired controller, original one, where is it? I got it here. And so when I tested it against this one here, a fully wired controller from back in the day, I could notice the lag straight away. I mean, if you've got a wired pad, there's no input lag at all. It's as soon as you press the button, it responds. But when I tested them together by holding one in one hand and the other one in the other hand, and I was pressing the same button at the same time, this one was always lagging behind, just ever so slightly. So I thought, what am I going to do? So I went and tried it upstairs in the bedroom, where I've got the actual analog Mega SG hooked up to on a Sony Smart TV, flat screen TV, and I tried it, and the lag was even worse up there. When I played Street Fighter, I couldn't. It felt like playing this on upstairs. It felt like literally trying to push a piano uphill. It just felt so heavy. It felt so laggy. You press up and you go to throw a kick with Ryu or Ken, and there's too much of a delay. It's not right. And the TV was on game mode, so its latency was, minimized as much as possible. but it just wasn't good enough. So I then read the instructions. I read how you can go online and try and update the firmware, because the receiver here, I don't know if you can see it in the light because the light isn't very good here, but see how it's got a USB port? Yeah. So I went and plugged it in there, and I had it plugged into my computer using Windows. And this is where things got really bad. My computer would not recognize the dongle, and there's been a few reports of this, of other people, of the same thing happening to other people. The computer wouldn't recognize the dongle, and it went into update mode. So the receiver was in update mode. It stopped flashing, and what happened was it bricked itself, so it became unusable. And what did I do? I just plugged it into the computer. I followed the instructions from Retrobit, what it says in the book here, and it never worked again. And of course, panicking, I put it back into the Mega Drive to see if it would start up again, and it never did. I eventually got into contact with Retrobit, told them about my problem, and they said, oh, well, you know, you weren't supposed to use the USB cable that came with it to update the firmware. You're supposed to use a different one. And I'm like, I didn't reply back to them, but I'm like, you bastards, you didn't tell me this. Why didn't you mention this in the instruction booklet? It's not mentioned in there. Of course people are going to try and update it with just the charging cable that it came with. I mean, they're all the same. So that's it. I can't use this controller now. I can only use it with the I don't know where it is. I don't know what I've done with it. Oh, here it is. It's in the thing here. Yeah. I can only use it on PC now with the USB dongle. So it's bricked. In other words, it's fucked. So that's my experience with Retrobit the controllers, wireless controllers. So because of this bad experience, I will not buy any of these ever again. I will be sticking to 8-bit DO M30, 2.4 gig from now on, all the time, because these ones have not let me down. And there's no lag, there's no input lag with these ones. Yet the Retrobit one had lag, noticeable lag that I couldn't tolerate. And all I was trying to do was update the firmware to, you know, improve the input lag, and it just never worked. I couldn't return the item because no returns were accepted, so I was stuck with it. And I already left good feedback to the seller as I bought it on eBay. So it was a waste of what, $62. The only way I could redeem myself was to buy another one of these, so I did. I bought straight after getting that the Retrobit one. I went and bought another 8-bit DO M30 2.4 wireless gamepad. So I got another one of these. I tried it with the dongle. It worked straight away. I didn't have to even charge it, unlike the other one. This seemed to already have been charged. And I noticed straight away in Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat that the input lag was a lot better. It was a lot less. And I still tried it against the wireless, the wired original controller. And I still noticed a slight bit of lag. So I followed the instructions with 8-bit DO, and I went online to try and update the firmware. And with the, I don't know if you know, but with the 8-bit DO M30 2.4G controllers, they're not, the firmware isn't updated through the dongle, thank God. It's updated through the controller itself by plugging the USB charging cable in there and straight into the computer. And you go onto the side, you follow the instructions, you follow the prompted instructions, and off you go. So I updated the firmware just in case, and I thought to myself, I'll go and test it upstairs because it seemed to play fine here on this TV. So I went and took the new 8-bit DO M30 2.4G controller upstairs. I put Street Fighter 2 on. I think I was playing Pyron's remastered edition. I had a bloody perfect go with the controller. If there was any lag, input lag, I could not notice it. Nearly every match I was getting perfect rounds, and I was playing on very hard like I always do. You know, I put all the stars up on Street Fighter 2. I play with the time limit, and at least one round with against each fighter I was getting a perfect. I wasn't having any trouble with the timing. So this was after I updated the firmware. I just thought I'd update it just in case. So I'm just saying, if there is any input lag latency with the 8-bit DO M30 2.4G controllers, it's very, very minimal. It's very, very hard to notice unless you're holding that controller in your left hand, you're holding this one in your right hand, and you're pressing the punch button or the kick button at the same time, exact same time. You won't notice any input lag just playing it straight on the TV. So yeah, so guys, that's really just what I wanted to talk about, was my experience with these two controllers. I haven't tried the Crix brand or any other third-party brand. If anybody can tell me what those are like, that would be great. But for me, it's from now on, it's 8-bit DO M30 all the way. I don't even care if they're a little bit smaller in my hand. I mean, these ones are just too slow. It's just the input lag is not right, and I'm disappointed that the dongle is bricked. It doesn't work. I can't get it out of update mode because Windows on the PC won't recognize the device. And I know it's not just me. Other people have reported the same issue on Reddit and other forums. You can go and check those out. Yes, guys, so if you want my opinion, if you're looking to get a wireless gamepad for your Sega Mega Drive Genesis, without a doubt, get 8-bit DO M30 2.4G. You won't be disappointed. These ones are just spot on perfect, or near perfect, 99% perfect, as opposed to 85%, 90% perfect with Retrobit. That's the controllers out of the way. Just to end this video, I just wanted to mention there's two other things that I wanted to quickly talk about. What I got in front of me is Street Fighter 2 music CD and the Lemmings Sega Mega Drive Genesis music CD. Now the reason I've got these out on the table is because I've just always wondered these two games did not make it to the Mega CD. There was no Sega CD, Mega CD port of these two games back in the day. And they were really, really popular games, along with Mortal Kombat. You know, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter 2, and Lemmings were probably the three most ported games. They got ported to just about every computer, every console back in 1991, 1992. And 1993. And you know, only one out of the three got a Mega CD port, and that was Mortal Kombat. But Street Fighter 2 and Lemmings never got a Mega CD port. So I just often wonder if these two games were ported to the Mega CD, what would the actual port be like? Do you think it would have been just a Mega Drive Genesis, like copy and paste, but just put the audio, CD audio in? or would it have been, you know, developed by a different team? To me, you know, I'm trying to visualize what it would be like in my mind. I think if there was a Street Fighter 2 port on the Mega CD, I think it would be largely the same as Special Champion Edition, but it would have a CD audio soundtrack. It would not have an FM soundtrack. And I think the audio samples would be done through the PCM Rico sound chip of the Mega CD as well. So you'd be getting the direct arcade samples, and they'd be clear, a lot clearer. But the soundtrack would be CD audio. That's just what I think. And it's hard to tell. They might chuck some full motion video in there as a bonus. I don't know. And then with Lemmings, I sort of picture it as being, yeah, largely the same as the Mega Drive version, but it wouldn't have FM audio. What, you know, Yamaha or FM YM2612. It wouldn't have the same soundtrack. It would have either the original soundtrack converted to the PCM Rico chip from the Mega, or it would have a CD audio soundtrack. And I believe it would probably go with the CD audio soundtrack. Who's to say? It would probably have an extra mode of levels, might have some extra levels on top of the Mega Drive's 180 levels, and it would probably have some more full motion videos in it between modes. So say when you finish Fun or Tricky or Taxi or whatever, instead of the lemming walking into the middle of the screen holding up the sign of the next mode, you'd probably get like a full-on full motion video or something, you know. Just a bit more animation in there or something. That's all. That's all I wanted to mention. But I'd love to see ports of these two games made for the Mega CD. But you know, who's going to do it, and who's going to have all that time to learn how to code for the Mega CD, and who's going to be willing to do it for free? You know, it's an awful lot of work. Mega CD, Sega CD isn't easy to code for. And lastly, I just wanted to show you this. This is a soundtrack. It's a musical called War of the Worlds, Jeff Wayne's musical version of War of the Worlds. And I don't know why I'm really showing this, but I guess I just wanted to talk about the packaging. Like, this is the original double album. When it first came out on CD, you can see the case looks like a Mega CD, you know, European PAL double case, you know. It's got the disc inside, original pressing, by the way. Yep, there's disc 1, got your instruction booklet in there, and it's great. Look, my dad bought this, you know, what, nearly 30 years ago? No, nearly 40 years ago. And it's still, you know, it's still in its original case. It's never broken. And then about 15, 20 years ago, I bought myself a copy. So that was Dad's copy, the original one. Then I went and bought myself a copy. You can see the packaging is significantly different. It's one of those shitty cardboard digipack things that I hate. You can see how it's getting damaged on the ends, on the spine. It's a cheap way to do it, I'll tell you. You got the booklet here, you know, with all the pictures. You know, blah blah blah. And then you open up this side and you've got the two CDs. Ooh, one's come off. We'll see if I can fix that. So I like how there's like picture discs on this one. This is the remaster, by the way. It's a different mix. I just wanted to show you the casing, the packaging, how they're different. Like I said, this is the original pressing from when it first came out on CD, and this is the remaster from, I don't know, 2005, 2006 or something. They sound different. In if I had to say which one sounds better, I prefer the sound, actually prefer the sound of the remaster. I like the mixing better on that one. But it's missing a track. On disc 2, it's missing the dance remix of Eve of the War, which they included on this one, on the original release. So they took it out of this one. So there's good things and bad things. So yeah guys, that's all I wanted to talk about. I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, if you're going to buy a wireless controller, if you're looking to get one, my opinion, stick to 8-bit DO M30 2.4G. You won't be disappointed. Retrobit, if you're going to go for a Retrobit one, get a wired one. Don't get a wireless one. You're just going to be stuck with input lag and latency, and you don't want that. Alright guys, I'll catch you later. Bye now.